Hi there. I wanted to share with you guys how I do my rainbows. One of my absolute favorite pens that I use at work is this one, this combo, not this exact pen because it's not done yet. But one of my favorite things to do is rainbows, and it's kind of tricky to fit multiple colors. So these are just a few that I was working on, and I'm going to show you how I do them. So I have my glitters already. You can pick whatever combo you want, obviously, but this is just me doing this particular set. I'm only going to do the 6 rainbow colors, not the typical Roy G. Biv. I'm going to skip indigo for the sake of space. I did it on my pen that I use at work. You can't really tell that there's something between these two, so it wasn't even worth the space it took. So for this go around, I'm using Stripes, Man from Milwaukee, You Are My Sunshine, Tefiti, Cowboys, and Aladdin. The pen that I showed you just now, this is watermelon rind right here. It's just a little bigger cut than everything else, so I went down to Tefiti because it's the same color, just the smaller cut. All of these are from Fran's Glitter website right there. So I'm going to put a link to a coupon in the description. But that is where those are all coming from. There's lots of great colors. In fact, that neon one, the FAB, that means Fanatic box. It was a quarterly subscription that she did. And then the fall colors were also all from Fran's. But that's not why we're here. So I'm going to use my little pen attachment that I have from Cuba Lake Crafts. I've got a coupon for that shop as well. I have 3 of their pen holders. This one also holds a water bottle, like the spray bottle. You can see the threads right there. But I just put a little electrical tape just for a nice secure fit. It's perfect. And I just attach this and I tape it to my arm because I ordered it with the bigger PVC, but I no longer have as much flexibility with that machine. So I just attach this to my other ones with the skinnier diameter there. Easy peasy. I have a little bit of epoxy mixed up, way more than what we're going to need for this, but that's okay. It's really hard to mix small batches sometimes. So what I'm going to do is put a thin, but not like wafer thin's not the right word either. Thin, but not ridiculously thin layer on here. I don't want it so thick that the epoxy just absorbs the glitter, which will happen. But I don't want it so thin that I can't get it to sink in enough on my overlap. Otherwise, I'll end up with too heavy of color separation and not enough, like, sprinkle, I guess is a good word. My spray paint did something super weird right there. I shook it and it was gloss, but I don't know. It's okay. Be extra cautious here. I only go this direction. If you go this direction, you could end up scraping epoxy down and epoxying your pencil inside of your pen. It's not pleasant when that happens. Later on, I'm going to go in and clean up that rim inside with a blade. So I'm not worried about it now, but I do not want epoxy in that hole either. Just nice and slow gets it done. So since I have 6 colors, I'm going to mentally cut this in half and then cut that into thirds. So we're going to start with red here. Just kind of go down a little ways. I'll sprinkle it where it spreads out a little bit as well. have the air conditioner on out here, and it kind of blows my glitter weird, even though it's all the way on the other side of the room. So for this color, I don't mind tapping it like that over this. But from now on, I will not be tapping it over the paper because I can end up contaminating my colors. So now just kind of start kind of in the middle of where I'm gonna go and overlap it that way. I don't think you can see it on camera, but my air conditioner's blowing. It's so weird. We'll have to remedy that. So just like that. Kind of went a little bit bigger on the orange than I intended, but that's okay. Because now I'm going to tap this over the trash can. Or if you have a container going of fall off glitter like I do, you can tap it onto a different paper and just add it to that later on. But for now, I'm doing it this way. So now I'm going to go back to my red and overlap just a little bit there. Just like that. Pretty good. Tap it off again. And now we'll move on to our yellow. And we're just going to continue that technique till we get all the way through the colors. You Are My Sunshine is my favorite yellow, can you tell? It's almost empty. Just like that, kind of nice and thin, where I'm going to start in on my green. The green is more bold, so really it's going to kind of take over that yellow anyways. So it's okay if I didn't go super thin right there. I'm going to go back to my orange and overlap just a little. So there we are so far. Not quite half. I could have gone a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm happy with that. Move these colors out of the way. I'll keep the yellow handy because I will need it again after my green, but we're not there yet. I like having a different paper for each one because then I don't have to clean up in between. It's kind of a hassle, especially when you're working with Quickset. It can definitely cause you to run out of time pretty quickly. And for some reason, I feel like green glitter and inks, they take over. It's like anything I do that has green of either of those two, it's the most bold of any of the other colors. So there's that. I'm going to tap it off now. And go back to my yellow just a teeny bit. Kind of overlap that green just a little. Cowboys now. Get our blue. Pretty good. Go back to green and sprinkle a little bit after we tap. There we go. And last color here. Another one of my favorite colors. This is one of the very first colors I ever bought. I bought from lots of glitter suppliers. I say lots, like 5 or 6 different ones. She's my favorite. I just like how she does her business. I like several others too. I've got a weird bare spot there. You can see it. I just didn't get enough epoxy there. So what I'm going to do really quickly is do a little spray of hairspray. That way I don't have to get it weird and lumpy with more epoxy right there. I'll just kind of sprinkle around like that. Took care of that problem. And now back to a little bit of green, blue. You can kind of see where the glitter has sunk down into the epoxy. It looks a little flatter than it does here. I'm going to go back over all 3 of those colors. So we'll tap it off. Go back over the other 2. Blue we would have been doing anyways. It also gives us another chance to kind of blend it a little bit better with the ombre. There, now it has actual texture. You can kind of see what I've got where I messed that up and fixed it, but really under epoxy, it won't be that noticeable. If you're a perfectionist, definitely be more conscious of how the epoxy is laying before you start glittering. I get a little distracted. Okay, we're all done. We're going to let this completely cure. That epoxy is fast set, so I can come out here in a couple of hours. I'll blast it with a little bit of Aquanet right now, just because I don't want this sprinkling onto any other pins that I knock out right now. But before we actually epoxy it, I'll go over it with a clear coat spray paint so that it doesn't move. You don't want the glitter to kind of migrate around, because then it just kind of, you end up, like I said, with green everywhere. That's the one that kind of migrated on my other pens that I was working on. Yeah. One more kind of combo here. When I do my 3 colors, I'll just throw this in here at the end. I like to do the middle color a little less than 1/3 of the pen. Got the air conditioner back on. That's a problem. Not perfect, but that's okay. So I'm going to do red and yellow right there. Go back and forth a couple of times on my 3 colors. See how it's kind of pale in between right there? That's what I'm aiming for, because I'm going to go back over it with the orange. I did a beach color pen the other day. It was so pretty. I almost did that for this, but that would have been a lot of colors. So now back up to just kind of getting that pale coloring in between the 2. tap it off. But this is where we are right now. And I'm going to go back to the orange. Kind of help fill in those gaps right there. Like that. It's a little easier to go back and forth between colors when there's only 3 rather than a whole bunch more. The higher you pour it from and the slower that it pours, the more you're going to get that blend right there. So pretty. One more time with the yellow. If I had a very slightly larger cut of this, that's what I would be using, of the yellow. I feel like it would go better, but I don't have a yellow that I love as much as this one in that cut. So there we are. That's the 3 color combo there, and the 6 color combo there. So blast it with a little bit of hairspray. Put that bad boy right there. Done. So now I will pour all my glitters back in, and I didn't have to worry about contamination. So if you like my videos, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments. I check my messages and comments every once in a while. Not all the time. I try to stay off my phone more lately. But I do that just because they're less likely to wiggle out. I usually have a whole row of them, but not today. Thanks for watching and have a good one.